Whatever you do, chill. Whatever you do, yes. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Ellehcal Health Show. I am Dr. Anshanta, your host, and we are back. We've got a great show for you planned today. In fact, this is just going to be part one of a two-part series. So, today and in our next series, what we're going to be talking about is what should you say to your doctor or your provider, right? What information should you bring? And then some little pearls and tips to help you get the most out of that visit. Right? Everyone is always talking about how quick the visit is. So let's get the most out of it. And then, of course, we'll always end our show with some motivation, encouraging you to donate to a local nonprofit organization. Yes. And today, our nonprofit is going to be related to the children. So the show is donated to them or dedicated to them. So let's jump right into it. Things I want you to remember. Right? And you can look this up online, some of it, but some of these things are just things that I've learned over the years from my clients and also myself as a patient going into a doctor's office or going in for surgery. Number one, write your questions down before you come. Yes. Bring in your pencil or pen and your pad. Write your paper with your paper. Write your questions down before you come. One, it'll help you stay focused. And the other thing is that it will help you get the most out of your visit. Because if you're like me, you might be sitting there in front of your provider, in front of your doctor. We're giving you so much information in a quick fashion. And then all of a sudden, guess who forgot to say what, right? I can distinctly remember leaving a doctor's office visit one time and totally forgetting what they had just said to me and what I wanted them to answer. Yes, I'm like, oh my goodness, I had all these questions that I did not get out. And that's when I decided, you know what, the next time I come here, I'm going to write everything down. I'm going to have it with me. Now, this next one, let's just be honest with one another, right? We all know that the truth is good, right? Yes, telling the truth is a good thing. At my house, we sometimes say, tell the truth, right? Even when it hurts. And sometimes it might hurt. But here's the thing. When you're at the doctor's office, we have a pretty good idea of when you're lying. And we don't really get anything out of that, right? It's a total two-way street. It's supposed to be a partnership between you and us. We are here to provide you with excellent care, but we need honesty. We need you to tell us everything. We really do. I'll give you an example. I had a client come in once. She said she was having painful contractions. Well, she didn't look like she was in pain, right? What she failed to tell me was that she had called one of her friends over in California. They told her about this medicine she could get. I don't know if she stole it from the hospital she worked at because she was a nurse. I don't know how she got it. But she got a medication called Cytotec or misoprostol, 200 micrograms, which we would never place in a patient who had a live pregnancy. But she did. She placed it in her own vagina because she was trying to induce her own labor. And then she just came and checked into her prenatal visit, right? So needless to say, I go to check her cervix, gloved hand, of course, right? And my finger hit something. It's not the vagina. It's not the baby's head. I'm like, what is that little thing there? I pull out this big Cytotec pill. The 200 micrograms are pretty big, right? And the patient just swore up and down. She didn't know what it was. She had no clue. Well, it turns out I've seen this medication multiple times. I knew exactly what it was. But we sent it over to the lab. Then we sent it over to pharmacy. She was already 5 centimeters. Myself and the other individuals that were taking care of her on labor and delivery were really concerned about the baby because 200 is a lot. And there she was, 5 centimeters. She did deliver a healthy baby. And that was just one example. Another example of why you need to tell us the truth is I had a client once, and basically all I was supposed to do as the doctor was sit down and do the pap test. That was it. But I go to put the speculum in, and what do I see? Something I don't even know what it is, right? It turns out the client, I said, there's something here. I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm looking at. I pulled it out. It was a toy. So if you are a grown up, you know what I'm talking about. But she said, oh, I'm so glad you got that out of there. My husband and I, we kind of lost that toy a few days ago, and I couldn't get it out. And so, you know what? Here's the deal. You might be laughing about this story right now, but as the doctor on the receiving end, that wasn't funny. There was a horrible smell. This toy had been in there for I don't know how many days, if not a couple of weeks. We actually ended up not doing her pap test that day and had to reschedule her for a future visit. I treated her for a vaginal infection. You need to tell us the truth and tell us early. Tell us early. If you are not taking your medications the way that they are prescribed, we need to know that, right? That could be the reason why your blood pressure is elevated at this visit. That could be the reason why your blood sugars are not being controlled, because you're not actually taking your medication. So again, just to review, tell us everything, write down your questions, tell us the truth when you come in, give it all to us. We're not going to the break room talking about you or anything like that, right? We just need to be able to help you, right? It does me no good to change your medication or increase your medication dose when it turns out you just weren't taking the medicine the way it was prescribed in the first place. And that would be why it wasn't working. One of my clients had severe range blood pressures in the office, and it turns out she hasn't had her blood pressure medication for most of the pandemic, right? So for over 7 months, she hasn't been on anything. And I was like, wow, that's just amazing, though. She looks healthy. She had no symptoms. Well, she forgot to say something. She had about 4 slices of some really salty pizza the day before her visit with me. So if you have hypertension, we don't want you piling on the salt. Definitely don't do it before you come to our office. So again, you need to tell us the truth. We want to know everything. Treat us like the person who's being nosy, because we need to know everything. I always tell clients before we're going to have surgery, is there anything else that I need to know about you? And everyone gets quiet. But let's be real about this. You're about to go to sleep, or at least be sedated. None of your people are in this room. Me and my team are in this room. Don't you want us to know everything? We need to know everything, right? Even something as simple as, hey, you know what? I get really nervous. I've had clients tell me that. And I'm like, you know what? Can I sing to you? Can I pray with you? Can I talk with you as you're drifting off to sleep? Anything to help, right? Because you were just honest with me telling me that. The other thing is you really need to tell your doctors all that you are taking. You know those herbal supplements that are oh so good and work for almost anything, those home remedies? We need to know that. If you're taking black cohosh, black seed oil, the list is really long. Please tell us, because some of these things have additional effects that you may or may not know about. They may be interacting with the medication that you're already on. They may be interacting with another supplement that you are taking. And on top of that, we just need to know. What if we're about to give you something that's going to make it worse instead of better because of something that you're already on? These are things we need you to know. If you go over to the NIH, National Institute on Aging, they actually have a page on this talking about the different things that you need to tell your doctor when you come in. Now, another thing you need to tell us, you know what it is. All of your symptoms. Don't leave something out. So for instance, for the ladies, don't tell me that you have hot flashes, but then you're not having anything else. Let's be real. Are you having some bladder problems? A little leakage here and there? Maybe. Is sex uncomfortable? Did you know that being intimate with your partner lengthens your life, decreases your stress? I mean, we're talking benefits. I thought it would never happen, but yes, about 10, 15 years ago, I wrote my first prescription prescribing for an individual to be intimate with her husband. Why? Because that is what she wanted. One, she wanted me to put it in writing. Two, we have science behind it. Yes, if you are single and intimate, then that means that you are happier. Couples stay together longer and they are happier. So I always say, listen, you can be mad. You can have that argument, right? But bedroom activity, non-negotiable, not a part of the argument. Why? Well, it decreases your stress. It lengthens your life. It keeps you happier, right? It's the Ellehcal Health Show. We want you healthy. We want you happy. We're not trying to take the place of your doctor by any way, but we want to give you great information that you can use, right? You need to tell us everything. For instance, right now, one of the hot topics in healthcare is this COVID vaccine. And yes, I just got my second dose this week. I feel great. I'm really happy about that. But here's an interesting thing, is that if you're coming in for the vaccine, the manufacturer has said no other vaccines in the past 2 weeks. So don't lie to us, right? Tell us the truth. If you've been vaccinated in the past 2 weeks, we need to know that, right? The other thing is, what if you tested positive for COVID, but you want the vaccine and you've been called by your primary, or someone else has called you and said, hey, you can come down and get your vaccine, you're eligible. Can you have it? The answer is yes, right? So what they have said so far is that we want you to have, sorry guys, I dropped my little mic in real time, but we want you to have 90 days after your COVID infection. You can still get your COVID vaccine. Okay, so that's important. And it's important to know that we don't want you to have any other vaccines in the past 2 weeks. So I went for my first vaccination injection. 3 weeks later, I came back for my second one, did well for both of those, right? So you need to be aware of the things that they're going to ask you. Have you been around anyone that's been positive for COVID? Have you been positive for COVID? All of those things, right? So I have to be honest, I feel like we have talked about that one. So other things that you need to be aware of, that you need to let your doctor know. What are some of your habits, right? So if you are the type of person that you are snacking a lot, you don't exercise, or do you have a routine of exercising every day at a certain time, right? I'll use myself for an example. I went in for physical therapy, and one of the things she wanted to know was I running? Now, I won't lie, I'm not perfect. So a little bit of me wanted to be like, no, girl, I don't do that, no. But you know what? I had to go and tell her the truth. The truth of the matter is, yes, my version of running is actually like a slow jog, and I was trying to lose weight. So yes, I was doing that. And so she was honest with me because I was honest with her. And she's like, hey, you know what? You're here to be working out your back pain issues. We're giving you exercises for this. It is strain on your back when you run. So no more running. You're walking or using your elliptical, no more running, especially not running the hills. So this is just another example of how the provider, the person that you're talking to, could help you more if you were honest, if you told them the truth. So let's review. We've talked about writing your questions down, making sure you get all of your questions answered to get the most out of your visit, right? Telling us how you're taking your medicine, if you're taking your medicine. Essentially, just don't lie to us about anything. We're your friend. We love you. We want you better. Tell us the truth about it, right? The other thing is, make sure that you let us know what your anxieties or your phobias or your concerns or your fears are, right? If you're coming in and we're giving you a new diagnosis, what do you need to say to us? Hey, how's this going to affect me? What is going to be our treatment plan? Are you giving me medication for this? Are there any side effects for my medication? What happens if I don't take my medicine on time? These are real questions. I had a friend recently. Actually, this has happened multiple times, so I can't say recently. But I've had friends tell me, you know what? I didn't get the medicine yet. And I'm like, what? So let me get this right. You were diagnosed. You were told that you needed to be treated. And for whatever reason, you never got the prescription? You're waiting on a doctor's visit? No. What I need you to do is call the doctor's office, let them know your name so they can pull your record, request the medicine that you have already been told by the provider that you need, right? Don't leave that hospital without your medications. Don't leave that doctor's office without knowing that your medication has either been sent electronically to the pharmacy or are they giving you a paper prescription? And you want to know, are there any side effects that you need to know about? How do you take it? Is it okay to have some wine? Now, yours truly doesn't drink, right? But that's okay. Several of us do, right? And we need to know, is this medication going to interfere? Is drinking alcohol in any way going to interfere with this medication? Those are real-time, real questions. Now, if you're saying to me, hey, I need a doctor's visit to get that prescription, some doctor's offices do say that. But your counter argument could be, it's in my record. The doctor told me when I was there that I was supposed to get this medication. I arrived to my pharmacy. The medicine is not there. Can I just get the medicine called in? And it turns out, yes, the office can send that over electronically through the electronic medical record, or they can call it in, but you can get your prescription without having to come back in for that second visit. Now, if you're calling into our office just requesting a medication that we have never prescribed for you, do not be upset when we say you need an appointment. Now, I know we're still in the middle of a pandemic. Your appointment could be telemedicine. That's okay. Telemedicine is a great way to get questions answered, to get your prescriptions filled. But let's be real. We wouldn't walk up to your shop and be like, hey, I just need this, this, and this, and no, I don't want to talk to anyone. No, you can't do that. We reserve the right to treat you well. We reserve the right to give you the care that you need, even if you don't want us to. Even if you don't want us to. So these are all really good things to talk to your doctor about, making sure you have all your concerns. And if you think you're going to be nervous, take somebody with you. Yes, I said it. Take someone with you. If you think you're going to forget, I once had to go to see a specialist doctor, and I thought, man, I work a lot. I'm probably going to be tired. Well, my husband was working. He was not available to go with me. And I thought, I need to find a friend. So I thought about my friends who would be available. And there was one particular friend, I love her dearly to this day. And she went with me. She was the type of person that was very inquisitive. She's very smart, and she would ask a lot of questions. So I thought I had all bases covered. We get there. We get through the part of the appointment. The doctor answers all of the questions, and then it's time for me to get an ultrasound. And this particular ultrasound is going to require that I remove my shirt because they're going to be ultrasounding my heart. I forgot the sheet. So my friend looked at me and she was like, you didn't bring a sheet? I'm like, no. She said, you didn't bring a gown? I'm like, no. She said, girl, listen. Now I have sat here through this entire visit, and now we're about to get to the good part where I actually get to see an ultrasound of your heart. I will not look at you, but please don't ask me to leave. And so, of course, I did not. We got through the rest of that visit with no problem. But it was so wonderful to have her there because she came up with questions that I just wouldn't have thought about, literally. And that just made it even better. Even the doctor seemed to enjoy her presence of being there because she was coming up with additional questions. Even during the ultrasound, she's asking her questions. Well, what about this? And what can she do about that? That's what you want. And if you're going with someone, come with your thinking cap on. You know what? It is not really challenging when someone asks you a question. It's welcoming. It's welcoming. So you want that person to ask you a question. You want them to ask you a question. So I welcome questions. I sometimes look around and I'm like, hey, does anyone else have any questions? You know, when you're going in for surgery, You want to know, why am I having this surgery? What benefit is it going to have? What are my risks? What are my alternatives? What if I said no? I don't want the surgery. I had surgery probably a good 18 months ago. And I have to be honest, I have known for multiple years before that I might need surgery. I just didn't know what kind. I never was given enough information about it and about the condition. So then I decided, you know what? It is time for me to really take care of this. So I went in to see the doctor. I did not understand those big words that he was throwing at me. I'm a doctor myself. But you know what? He was a surgeon, and we were talking about things that was just totally not related to general medicine nor OBGYN in any way, form, or fashion. But I came with my questions. What do I need to do before surgery? What are going to be my restrictions after surgery? Do you recommend this surgery for me? Do we have any alternatives that we can do? Is there anything else I can do other than doing this surgery? And we discussed all of that. My final question was, what do I need to tell my husband? Is there anything else that I need to tell my husband to be able to take care of me? Is there anything else you need to tell your family to be able to take care of you afterwards? So these are all really good, important questions. I don't have to bring in cookies to my doctor. We do like food when you bring it to us. I'm not going to lie to you because we work a lot. We get a little hungry. But the point is, bring your questions in. Bring your concerns in. Make sure that you're getting the most out of your visit. Don't lie to us. Tell us everything. We don't want to be finding stuff in the middle of your exam. Little surprises, okay? We don't want that. Now, we started off saying that this show was going to be dedicated to the children. So, for the nonprofit, I want you to think about Make-A-Wish. Make-A-Wish Foundation. Yes, the Make-A-Wish Foundation. I've seen commercials after commercial after commercial about the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And sometimes you will actually see them air a wish that they made come true. I once had the opportunity to be up close and personal. And let me tell you, seeing them walk into that hospital room, knowing that our family member was laying in that bed, not in a good mood, they were so kind. They came back more than once. They were like, is there anything that you wish for? If you could have one wish, what would it be? The child answered the question. Less than a month later, the Make-A-Wish Foundation came back with their volunteers, and we ended up having more family members there that particular day, and they made our family members' wish come true. It was beautiful. And to have it be a young person who is sick and not doing well, and then to have this organization come in and bring so much happiness and joy, not only to the young patient, but also to the family members. I say donate. Yes. It's a tax break. We're in a new year, 2020. You want to donate. Get your tax breaks. I am Dr. Anshanta, your host of the Ellehcal Health Show. I hope that you have enjoyed this part 1 series of what you need to say to your doctor. We're coming back with you in 2 weeks, and we're going to bring you part 2. Have a great day, everyone. Stay blessed. Remember, with God, all things are possible. Bye-bye.
Whatever you do, show me. Whatever you do, yeah.